Hey guys, my name's Brandon Chin and I'm a mindful strength and fitness coach at Marvelous CrossFit. One of my goals is to bring barbell-based fitness and emotional intelligence to the fitness world.
And my name is Kelly. I'm a competitive Olympic lifter. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. And one of my goals is to remove some of the mysteries of Olympic lifting so people can be inspired to try it.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about Olympic weightlifting and how to successfully combine that with bodybuilding and aesthetics training. So one of the historical people that is known for this, his name is Tommy Kono. He was a legendary Olympic weightlifter from the 1950s, and he was also Mr. Universe, I think, don't quote me on this, but maybe 3 or 4 times, but he was able to successfully combine weightlifting as well as bodybuilding. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about other people who have done that as well.
So another person who has achieved that aesthetic aspect of weightlifting would be Klokov. And as you guys probably know by now, I went to a Klokov seminar recently where he did discuss his bodybuilding competition and how he kind of prepared for that. He didn't really need to do much of any bodybuilding exercises as his body was already pretty developed. All he really had to do was cut and get to a really low body fat percentage, and he was pretty much good to go. So that pretty much says a lot about the physique you can achieve just through Olympic weightlifting and combining that with a few bodybuilding exercises. Time under tension is really important because you want to develop that control over the bar. You want to be able to hold those positions and just develop sort of those isometric movements better.
It goes both ways for time under tension. It can benefit you in Olympic weightlifting with pauses, where you actually pause in a position, you learn to really fire those muscles and keep firing and firing beyond what they would normally fire in the lift itself, like the snatch or the clean and jerk. But also for bodybuilders, that's what actually gets your muscles to get that pump and really grow. So time under tension is actually a good crossover between weightlifting and bodybuilding.
Another thing to keep in mind is also to achieve balance. So while we are performing these movements with time under tension, you also want to make sure that you're focusing on those explosive movements as well, like box jumps and your explosive pulls.
Kind of a neat historical fact. I went to a Russian weightlifting seminar at Waxman's gym in 2013, and I was talking with one of the guys, Yasha Khan, about how Tommy Kono actually, when he came up with weightlifting and bodybuilding, he actually went and he discussed this with the Russians, probably in the 60s or 70s about, and the Russians actually liked that idea and they kind of ran with it for whatever 20 or 30 years, and so that actually is what developed into their current system. It's not the only Russian way of lifting, but it's one popular way because they really believe that bringing blood to areas that don't necessarily get a lot of blood, like your elbows and wrists, keeps them healthy so that there's not so much strain on the tendons and ligaments.
While we're on the topic of keeping your muscles healthy and just your body healthy in general, bodybuilding, while weightlifting, just to add mass, is also a really beneficial thing for you as well. Just building your frame to support the heavy loads on your chest, even just on your back, in those areas overhead is really important. Specifically, for instance, if you were to do dips, to build mass in your triceps will really help with a strong walkout, and it will just help support that weight overhead a little bit better.
Let's actually get into some of the movements that we think have a lot of crossover between Olympic lifting and bodybuilding, and they're actually very similar. There's not too many differences. So here we go.
So the first thing that I wanted to talk about are pull-ups and just back accessory exercises in general. Developing the lats are really beneficial for weightlifters, just to be able to have that control over the bar, to keep that bar close, to strengthen your hang position as well.
And having strong lats also helps support what's called absolute extension of your spine for those who are into lifting. It means just keeping a really stacked spine and not rounding when you're cleaning, or just having really good posture. Other exercises that really help in both bodybuilding and Olympic lifting are narrow stance squats, because they put a lot of emphasis on the quad muscles, which are really important from pulling off of the ground and also receiving cleans and snatches to recover from them. But also they build that really coveted teardrop muscle on the corner of the knee. That is kind of like the signature of really well-built bodybuilder legs. So if you look at a lot of Olympic lifters, they just have developed quads, but also so do bodybuilders. So the only difference is how they use those quads.
And another exercise that crosses over would be any sort of tricep accessory movement or dips. So weightlifters do dips to develop their delts, to develop their traps, and to develop their triceps. And like I mentioned a little bit earlier, developing your triceps are really great for just having that perfect lockout, being really strong overhead. Developing your front delts are great because it just develops that frame that we talked about earlier to support those heavy loads. And of course, strong traps are important because it helps with that extension at the top of the lift.
You have nice arms and you have a developed upper back. It also looks good, but it also has function in your athletic endeavors. Other exercises that we can focus on are high pulls and shrugs, so that we get that trap action, so that it helps us support weights overhead, but also it just develops a really strong shoulder girdle. So very popular bodybuilding exercises are lateral raises, as well as dips would do a good job too, but also lateral raises and military press, because military press really helps just a strong lockout, but also building that chest musculature, holding in the rack position. But also because we don't get a lot of pressing in the Olympic lift itself, we want to make sure that we have slow pressing strength to keep balance in our upper body.
And last but not least, I wanted to talk about Romanian deadlifts and good mornings. So bodybuilders tend to do these exercises to really just develop those hamstrings so that you have a nice quad to hamstring ratio. But weightlifters like to do these exercises to strengthen your hamstrings. So once again, you can have a really strong hang position. You can really be fast and explosive from the knee to the hip.
Strong torso position too. It really helps you build that the abdominal and low back strength. You can hold yourself over the bar. Guys, thanks for tuning in. It was a pleasure sharing this information with you, and hopefully you can use it. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's just Brandon_Chin. And you can leave comments, and you'll find other videos related to Olympic lifting, performance, and just mindful fitness.
Alright, so once again, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next video. See you later.